Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with the first of three, count them, Australian Eloquence boxes devoted to the complete Decca recordings of Adrian Boult. And there was a lot more of them than I remembered. I mean, really, I've got a lot of them sitting around here in the overflow room, but it's very different having them all in a box rather than having to find them individually in their alphabetized locations. So there's really, some of this stuff is appearing on CD, I think, for the first time, or at least, certainly on Decca Eloquence. And as usual with these Australian Eloquence productions, I mean, the boxes are beautiful, and you get yummy program notes that are intelligently written and really smart and beautiful, and you get original jackets. What's not to love here? And this is really fun. I mean, it's really great, and most of it actually is in stereo. Some of it is mono, but there's just like, let's go through it, shall we? This is box one. Box one is devoted to British music, not surprisingly, and it contains 16 CDs. And let's go through here. This is really good stuff. So first, with the London Philharmonic, recorded in 1954. And is this mono? Yes, this is mono. You get Malcolm Arnold, the 8 English dances, which are, of course, just delicious. Now, they've been recorded a million times in gorgeous digital sound, and since they kind of sound like Star Wars, you want to have really brilliant sound. I mean, they're film music-y type works, but full of wonderful tunefulness, and this is nice to hear the early versions. And then Edward Elgar, Chanson de Matin, Chanson de Nuit, and the 3 Bavarian dances. So that's disc 1. And as usual with these Eloquence productions, the disc timings are rather short. And they can sell more discs that way. And I don't blame them. I really don't. But you should know, a 37-minute CD. Next, the Elgar Violin Concerto with Alfredo Campoli. Campoli was a great violinist. Really an absolutely first-rate violinist whose legacy has been somewhat shortchanged, although it's been appearing on Eloquence. They've been issuing all of his stuff one way or another. And that's really a good thing. His Elgar Violin Concerto is marvelous. It's absolutely marvelous. I particularly like the fact that the tempos tend to be on the frisky side. Like the finale, it's 17 minutes long. Usually it's like 20-something. It's a beautifully balanced performance and just warm and singing and no nonsense. And oh gosh, it's marvelous. It's 45 minutes. It just seems to be exactly right. And of course, Adrian Boult's marvelous. It's another mono recording, but it's you should hear it. You really should hear it. It's just terrific. Then we've got his Vaughan Williams cycle. Now, the Vaughan Williams cycle, the mono Vaughan Williams cycle, all of these suckers, is very well known. I mean, it was done with the participation and quasi approval of the composer, and they actually licensed from Everest the Ninth Symphony, which is great, including Adrian's speech about, we had hoped that our dear friend Sir Ralph Vaughan Williams could have been with us for the recording sessions, but unfortunately his death occurred just moments before we were scheduled to begin our work on it. I'm so thrilled that his friends in America will have the opportunity, blah, 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 blah. That's what it does. It's 26 seconds of speech, and then a rip-roaring account of the Ninth Symphony. Now, these performances are more exciting, generally speaking, than Boult's remakes for EMI, also with the London Philharmonic, which was a much better orchestra in the 1960s and 70s than it was in the 1950s. So it's a trade-off. These are the more exciting versions. Those are better played and better recorded, and not a lot less exciting when it comes right down to it. I mean, there's some performances in the later cycle that are better than the earlier and vice versa, but still, I mean, it's you're getting it straight from the horse's mouth, as it were, or the cow looking over the barn gate's mouth, or whatever you want to call it, and it's an estimable cycle. It's very good. So that's great. You also get the partita for double string orchestra. That's in stereo. Some of these suckers are actually in stereo. They got to that point. Let me see. Yes, Symphony number 8 is in stereo. And that's when it turned into stereo, I think. I don't think any of the rest of it was. And Then we get more Vaughan Williams, the Old King Cole Ballet. When was the last time you heard that? And the Complete Wasps Suite. This is from 1953 and 1954. So that's fun, and that's unusual. It's unusual repertoire, so that's great. And then there's another recording of Job, the mono Job from 54 again. And, Boult was the Jobian. He was Jobalicious. He was the guy who did Job and did it extraordinarily well, all like 4 or 5 times that he recorded it. And it's just such a great work. It's arguably Vaughan Williams' orchestral masterpiece. I mean, he was a genius and had several of those, but it's a great, great, great work. And so I just love hearing all these performances. They had such trashy sounding percussion, though. Oh my God, the London Philharmonic. Ugh. They had a tam-tam that sounded like you were hitting the top of a garbage can with a wooden spoon. Ugh. They got a new one eventually. And then CD 13. We're already up to CD 13. See, it moves very quickly. You've got Walton, Portsmouth Point, Siesta, Scapino, a comedy overture, and The Wise Virgins Ballet Suite, arranged from music by Bach. That's a quirky little thing. It really, really is. And let's see, CD 14 is A Concert of English Music of all stripes. We've got Butterworth, A Shropshire Lad, and The Banks of the Green Willow, and then Bax's Tintagel. Yeah. Ooh. Now, of course, Boult redid that as well on Lyrita, which is stunning. And these, like I said, these mono ones, I mean, they sound fine. They're decent sounding monos. It's okay. But, this is for historical music people primarily. And then Holst, the Perfect Fool Ballet Music. And there's more. Holst, a Somerset Rhapsody, and the Scherzo from his Unfinished Symphony. And finally, Song Without Words No. 2, the Marching Song. Wow. I mean, some of this stuff was previously unpublished, according to the note. I'll take their word for it. We can all tell them if they were wrong. Then we've got the Hymn of Jesus. Yeah. This was, there were only 2 recordings of the Hymn of Jesus for like a very, very long time. It's in stereo. It's not fabulous stereo, but it's decent stereo. There was this one, and then Charles Groves came along and did it in much, much better sound. And then Richard Hickox came along and did one that was not better sounding than Groves, but it's very, very good also. And that's sort of it. Those are your hymns of Jesus's. There's also now one from Halle, I think, that wasn't very good. But, it's a rarely recorded work because it's just very, very big and very complex and very short. And so nobody wants to bother to do it because it just takes too much time and effort. And then there's also the stereo recording of the Perfect Fool Ballet Music and Egdon Heath and the Song Without Words No. 1, Country Song. So that's fun. Disc 15 is a real winner. It really is. All this rare Holst stuff. And I'm stabbing myself in the thumb with the staple that puts the booklet together. I just might point out when you get yours to make sure that your staples here between the pages. See staples? See the staple? There you go. Make sure your staples are put together or you may wind up with, something, I might get tetanus or something. I don't know. Then disc 16, Humphrey Searle, Symphony No. 1, Matthias Sieber, Elegy for Viola and Small Orchestra with Cecil Aronowitz. Yes, and then 3 fragments from A Portrait of the Artist as a Young Man, also by Sieber, actually. His name is Sieber, I don't know, whatever his name was. And with Peter Pears as the speaker. The Dorian Singers, the Melos Ensemble, conducted by Matthias Sieber. Oh, Sieber's conducting all this stuff. The only Adrian Boult thing is the Humphrey Searle Symphony No. 1, which is also very nice to have. I mean, those are rarities, serious rarities. I mean, rare rarities, red, bloody, uncooked rarities. So there you go. Adrian Boult does British music for Decca. Really a wonderful, wonderful collection, I think. Just interesting stuff. It's very, very well played, idiomatically done by somebody who knew it as well as anyone in the human race ever did. And I'm all for it. I think it's wonderful that this stuff's getting reissued. I'm very, very pleased. So keep on listening, friends. Thanks for joining me. Take care.